Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about some things I actually work with my clients. It's something that happens simultaneously as we begin to be still and we begin to take a look at how our emotions come into play in our lives. We look back on the week and see how these particular emotions have shown up, um, who seems to be our triggers, what seems to be our triggers, and how wrapped up we are with these emotions can remain, quite frankly, unconscious for most of our lives. So as we begin work on ourselves, which is what my program is all about, what my clients work on, we're really looking into what has been unconscious for us for a long time. And those emotions and those thoughts that are wrapped up around them are those very things. So I ask you to look at those. Now, what I'm going to work on today is like recognizing when those triggers come up is part of the awareness, and that's where we spend most of our time, is just becoming aware of how unconscious we really were and becoming therefore more and more conscious. Okay, what was once unconscious, once we look at it and go, oh, now we can recognize it, right? So that's why we look at personalities and stages of development and so forth. Once you do that, it becomes time to then simultaneously work on mastery. And so when we're dealing with emotions, what we really want to do is start getting a grip on and mastering their control over us. And really the only way to do that is to let go of their power over us. And one of the best tools I have used, that I know about, or read about, and utilized is called Ho'oponopono. And this is the forgiveness exercise. And it can be a little bit confusing for some because it's like, well, if I'm forgiving someone else for what they do, isn't that condoning their behavior? No, it's not. Forgiveness is a term that's been misused, I believe. What it really is, and well, maybe I'll just share my screen because I have something from Jack Kornfield up here that I think would be really, really cool for you guys to look at. Let's see if I can pull that up for you. All right, hopefully you can see this screen right here. It's for a presentation I'm working on, but right here, right? Forgiveness is, in particular, the capacity to let go, to release the suffering, the sorrows, and the burdens of the pains and betrayals of the past, and instead choose the mystery of love, right? Forgiveness shifts us from the small, separate sense of ourselves to a capacity to renew, to let go, to live in love. As the Bhagavad Gita says, if you want to see the brave, look to those who can return love for hatred. If you want to see the heroic, look to those who can forgive. Forgiveness is more about a self-cleansing, right? It's a releasing of those things, because what happens is we start to build up, right? The anger, the resentment, the hatred, the fear of those past events are still in us. And that is the very thing that's blocking any kind of spiritual growth, any kind of renewal. And actually you clinging to those and not letting them move through you creates more energy around them. So it creates more of that. So in the act of forgiveness, you are actually allowing yourself to expand. You're moving yourself out of a small, restricted persona, right? Where all these emotions and thoughts come from that are all wrapped up around our egos and supposedly keeping us protected, right? Well, what it's doing is it's hardening the heart. It's putting layers over the heart, and it's not allowing you to expand into who you really are, okay? The larger self. So in this practice, Ho'oponopono, that is what you were doing. Now, many people, suggest doing it in many different ways. The most recent one that I heard, I thought was very good. And she said, this is about really it's about inner forgiveness. It's about saying to yourself and asking yourself, I release and I let go of what I've been holding on to, this anger and this resentment and so forth. About the event, you are not condoning or forgiving the other person necessarily. You are actually forgiving yourself for holding on to all that. Forgive me, right? For holding on to that. So other people say it might be good for you to imagine someone else out there that has done you harm, that has done you wrong. And so you can imagine them as you do this practice. And there's 4 sentences in this Ho'oponopono prayer or meditation. And you visualize this other person out there and think of them as you do this practice, feeling into what's happening in you as you look at this other person, as you think about this other person, and the feelings that you've had around the incident that happened between you two. And as you feel into each of these sentences, you will be able to release. So the prayer, I've heard it done different ways. I've heard it started with, I love you. I've heard it started with, I'm sorry. So I'm going to start it with, I'm sorry. And there's basically 4 phrases, like I said, in this prayer. And so it's really a mantra. It's something you say over and over. And as you are saying it, you're feeling into how this is in your body. And you may even feel some shifts as you say each sentence, and in that shift, then you move to the next sentence. If you don't feel anything, then that's fine. Just keep repeating the phrases over and over again as you are remembering, thinking about, and where the feelings of fear or hatred or wherever else are in you as you say the sentences. Okay, so you feel into each one, feel into each sentence, and then move on to the next one. So the first sentence is, I'm sorry. The next one is, please forgive me. And the next one is, thank you. And the final is, I love you. And some like to begin with, I love you. So whichever feels good for you is how you begin. And you say the sentences over and over again. Another good practice that I've seen several practitioners use is to place your hand on your heart as you're doing these, or both hands on your heart. And so right now, let's just run through practice. Think about something fairly recent. You can think about something as a group, something going on in the world, someone in particular at work or at home that has hurt feelings that you may be holding on to. It's something that you want to let go of. Okay, so think about that. You may want to close your eyes as you do this, and I will say the phrases, but please just move on to the phrase that feels right. I'm just going to say it over and over a couple of times just so you get the repetitive nature of it. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Think about the incident and the way it made you feel. Feel into that in your body. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This is just a very shortened version of what the Ho'oponopono prayer is. And of course, you can do this several minutes, just over and over again. Keep doing it with the incident and with the feelings inside. And this is the way in which they're washed through you. You can release the tension, the anger, the fear, all of that was wrapped around that particular incident that you've been holding on to. Forgive yourself for holding on to it. I'm sorry, self. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So it works any which way. I don't know how. Miracles have occurred because of this prayer. So you can look it up. It's Ho'oponopono and find all kinds of recordings of it, information about it, the miraculous things it's done for the individuals and for the world at hand. But I encourage you to practice this, especially if you have difficult people in your lives, difficult situations, and you feel closed and tense and depressed and, helpless in your life. This would be probably a life-transforming prayer for you. And if you need any more information about it, don't hesitate to reach out to me at maryliziersmith.com, and we can talk about it and practice it together. So again, I encourage you to try a Ho'oponopono as you are discovering more and more about how your personality is formed, how those emotions and thoughts just, make so much mismeaning in your life. So much turmoil is created from that unexamined stuff. And the emotions get caught and trapped in there and prevent you from moving forward in your life, prevent you from opening and expanding. So thank you, and I hope this has been helpful for you today, and I'll see you soon.